Hello, everyone. I am Mimosa, and these are my Chronicles. And I'm going to talk about this Tory Lanez, Meg the Stallion. Really, it's Tory Lanez vs. the state of California. So, yesterday, finally, EJ the stylist comes into the courtroom, and we're able to hear what happened that day from another person's point of view. Now, I've been on a few panels over the course of the past couple of days, and that was my main concern. I'm like, there are so many other witnesses that were there that I would love to hear from their opinion or from their point of view what happened the night of this incident, the night of this shooting. EJ was one of the ones on my list. The driver was on my list. And Megan the Stallion, her bodyguard was on my list. Now, this is the thing. The bodyguard was not present during the confrontation and the shooting, of course. However, someone made him aware that there was a shooting and that she had been hurt in the midst of this shooting. And there was a text message that was sent from Kelsey's phone to the bodyguard. So, in my opinion, I felt like he would be a great witness to come on and testify and say, hey, yes, I did receive this message from Kelsey via text message. At this time, I spoke with her. I spoke with Meg. These are the things that they said, etc. But that never happened. Okay. And I'm going to go into that and what I think and what my theory is on him not coming in to testify. Then there's EJ. He's the stylist. He was the person that was with both ladies prior to Tory even being in the mix of everything. So I definitely wanted to hear what he had to say. And then there's the driver, the person who was in the vehicle while everything was going down. He wasn't in the party, but he was in the vehicle, the same vehicle that all of this stuff went down in. So, okay, so let's talk about it. Let's break it all down. So we're going back to the day of the kickback or get together over at Kylie Jenner's home. Okay, so apparently EJ knew Kylie. If you don't know who EJ is a very reputable stylist to the stars. He's been in the industry for years. And when I think about it, I don't think EJ has ever had a bad rep, in the industry. He's always been someone that people gravitate to, and he is well respected in this industry, in the entertainment industry. So of course his opinion would count. So I was so happy when I ended up finding out that he was going to hit the stand, because I want to hear what you have to say, Mr. EJ. I want to hear it. Okay. So he comes onto the stand, and I'm going off of what I read from the transcript. Some stuff I'm going to paraphrase, etc. And I'm going to kind of look down on my notes and stuff so I can make sure that I go over everything. So he talks about the happenings prior to going to Kylie's house. So according to what he says that they all rode with him. So before them riding with him, he's fixing like a little weekender bag or overnight bag for Meg. He is her stylist, but at the time, Kelsey was her assistant. So EJ was a stylist and Kelsey was her assistant. So he's packing like a bag for Megan. And what I'm assuming in the bag was probably like toiletries and maybe a change of clothes, because they were going over to Kylie's house as a little kickback and to swim in the pool and just, chill or whatever. And so Kelsey packed her own bag. Now, what I found interesting is that the prosecution did not question him as I would, because basically it was kind of lax how they questioned him. If you actually read the transcripts, it was kind of lax. And then the defense comes in, and I mean, like, they start bringing that reasonable doubt to the jurors, because that's what this is all about. It's not even about if Tory shot her or if Kelsey shot her. At this point, it's about, can you prove without a reasonable doubt that these events did or did not happen? And I'm going to tell what my theory is and what I think, because I am very concrete on what I feel about this, but after I go over everything. So, anyways, the prosecution basically, has like this laxy questioning with him. And then the defense comes in, and they are really, really hammering it when it comes down to the bag that he packed and what was in the bag. And whenever you all go to kickbacks, or whenever you all go to events together and security isn't there, do you ever pack any type of weapon? What do you do, as some type of defense or to be able to protect yourself? So he says, usually we'll pack like a stun gun or a taser. I've seen those type of things, whenever security isn't with us, those are things that I've seen in their handbags or in their bags as a form of protection. And they keep asking, well, have you ever seen a gun? Did it look like a gun? And what got me was that EJ never gave like a concrete answer, like, no, I did not see a gun, or it could have been a gun, or it possibly looked like a gun. And then that's when I kind of was saying to myself, okay, EJ, who got to you? Who got to you? Because here we go again. You giving the same type of answers that Kelsey is giving. It's nothing concrete. It's not a yes or a no. It's very simple. Did you see a gun in the bag? Did it look like there was a gun in the bag? It's common sense. Yes or no? So then I was like, okay, here we go back with proving reasonable doubt, because if I was a juror, I would definitely feel like there's reasonable doubt. Okay, so fast forward. He says that he packs Meg's bag. He does not pack Kelsey's bag. He has no idea what's in Kelsey's bag. And you're trying to understand what the defense is trying to do. And then I kind of figure it out when I'm reading the transcript. But I'm like, oh, that defense. That's one thing I will say. Tory Lane's attorneys are freaking good. They're really good. And I just feel like the prosecution played with this whole situation, but that's neither here nor there. Let's focus on the facts of the case. So EJ goes on to say how they all get in his vehicle. He's driving. He's taking everyone over to Kylie Jenner's house. So it's him, it's Meg, and it's Kelsey. They're all in EJ's vehicle. They get to Kylie's house. Meg wants to make tacos. She has a taste for tacos. She wants to make tacos, whereas everyone else is like drinking, having a good time in the pool, this, that, and the other, luxuriating. And then Meg comes out, and apparently Kylie keeps asking about Tory. Now, this is the thing. Tory wasn't even there when they first got there, because according to EJ, this all started like around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Tory wasn't there, but Meg wasn't bringing up Tory, and Kelsey wasn't bringing up Tory. It was Kylie that was bringing up Tory, and she kept asking about Tory. So a phone call was made, and Tory ends up coming over. Now, there's no exact time for the time that Tory came over, but I'm assuming that they had been over to Kylie's house for quite some time. Just especially if you're starting at 1 o'clock and then it's nighttime by the time that this shooting happened. They had to have been there for quite some time. And so they were there so long that Kelsey has drunken herself into a blackout. So EJ is helping Kelsey up the stairs in Kylie's house to be able to lie down. Now, this is another part that I did not mention. So when they first got to Kylie's house, they had like these bags, and inside of the bags supposedly were a change of clothes for the ladies to be able to change out of or into once they get in the pool, out of the pool, etc. And so Kylie had told them what bedroom that they can put their belongings in. So after they put their belongings up, that's when the whole Meg decides that she want to make tacos. She have a taste for tacos. Kelsey is in the pool. Kylie's in the pool. EJ's there. Supposedly at some point in time, the stepdad, Corey Gamble, comes over, and of all people, what's his name? The football player. I can't Beckham? Is that his name? Anyways, he's even there. And I'm just like, geez, like these are like random people that you would never even think that they would even, or is it Odom? I don't know. But whoever he is, I can't even think his name because he wasn't, he's not of importance. But I just thought that it was very funny that it was like random people you wouldn't even think even knew each other, hung out, whatever, they're at this kickback at Kylie Jenner's house of all people. So anyways, eventually Tory comes over. And at this point, Tory is now in the pool. And apparently Meg decides she's out. She feel like, she not in the mix of things, and she feel like she kind of outed. So she like, I'm not going to make these tacos anymore. You guys are having too much fun without me. So she goes out in the pool, and, it's her, Tory, Kelsey, her, Tory, and Kylie. Now, between this time, Kelsey is knocked out asleep, maybe like 2 hours, according to EJ. And she ends up coming downstairs eventually. And so it's like all of them. Some of them in the pool, some of them are like outside of the pool. They're just like having like a good time or whatever. So apparently, according to EJ, he has been around both ladies when they are inebriated. Now, his words, not mine. He says that Kelsey is a little bit of like a Tasmanian devil. She's the life of the party. She get the party started. He's never really seen her violent, but she have like a little kickback or whatever. Now, when it comes to Meg, he says that she is very belligerent, and she could basically be like a mean drunk, in other words. And I find this very, very damaging. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like this has been a character assassination for Meg from the very beginning. We know these things to be factual or non-factual, because at the end of the day, the defense never asked the questions for her to be able to clear her name on this. Not the defense. The prosecution did not ask these particular questions for Meg to be able to clear her name on this. But what we do know is that supposedly Meg slept with a slew of people in the industry, and that Meg don't tell the truth, and that she drink a lot, and that she can be violent or belligerent. Okay, those are the four things that the defense has really, really tried to drive a nail in the prosecution and create reasonable doubt amongst the jurors. So then we go into EJ basically saying that he they're all just having like a good time. And Kelsey is like so into them having a good time. She makes this comment and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Kylie, like, oh, I'm having such a good time, girl. You're such a vibe." Meg, on the other hand, says, "Yeah, like you are a vibe or whatever, something like that." And then says, "Yeah, because I really thought that you was a lame." So at this point, EJ is like, here go Meg. She been drinking a little too much. And, she in this woman house disrespecting this woman because it was shade. It was shade. Maybe Meg didn't feel like it was a shade because she was drunk. She was drinking. So fast forward, then we get into her wig sliding back. EJ pretty much says that she had been drinking and having a good time and swimming so much, her whole wig was sliding back. So it was to the point of embarrassment. Now, mind you, by this time, Kelsey comes over, not Kelsey, Tory comes over with his driver. Tory don't even have any swim clothes. He literally stripped down practically naked. All this man have on is some underwear. So he gets in the pool with underwear and it's him and Kylie just flirting it up. Now, mind you, what we know now as the general audience is that Tory has slept with Kelsey and he slept with Meg. He done slept with both of them. And what we also know now, because of EJ running his mouth, is that Kylie was definitely asking for Tory and wanting to know where Tory was, and she wanted to meet Tory and she wanted to hang out with Tory. Also, what we know, because if you Google it, you will see that Tory and Travis Scott, which is Kylie's, both of her children's father, had some words in a run-in, and we'll go through all of that later. There's a reasoning why I'm bringing all of this stuff up now. Okay, so we go through that. And so basically, EJ is like, girl, you need to go. Like, we need to, you need to come on. Like, he knows Meg to the point where he knows where she is drank too much. So he asked that they go ahead and leave. And she's basically like, no, I want to stay. I want to stay. And he's like, sis, your wig is falling back. We need to go ahead and go. So Tory says, hey, yeah, you guys go ahead and go. Y'all can go with my driver. And EJ is basically like, nah, y'all come with me. Y'all roll with me. Y'all come with me. And Meg and Kelsey basically are like, no, we can go with Tory, So supposedly EJ goes upstairs to whatever room that Kylie had given them permission to put their personal belongings in. He goes up to the room, he's packing their bags, and he comes back downstairs. By that time, he puts both bags in the trunk of Tory's SUV with Tory's driver. He gets in his vehicle. They get in Tory's vehicle, Kelsey and Meg, with the driver. Tory is not in the vehicle at that time. Apparently, they go up the road a little bit, and Meg discovers that she doesn't have on any shoes. She has left her sandals or slides or flip-flops or whatever it was. She's left them at Kylie's house. And I have a theory about this as well, but I'm just going to tell you guys the straight facts of what happened. And then I'm going to break it down and like give y'all layman terms and reenact some stuff. Okay. So they go back to the house. Something transpires because the second time they go back to the house to retrieve Meg's shoes, she's coming out of the house with Tory, and you can tell that there's some type of confrontation or something happened, and her and Tory are walking out of the home. EJ is walking out of the home, and EJ is in his vehicle. Tory, Megan, Kelsey, and Tory's driver are in Tory's SUV, and then EJ is in his vehicle. They're trailing each other, and then it comes to a point where one goes right and the other one goes left, so they break apart. Okay. So let's stop there. Now I'm gonna break it down for you exactly what I think what went down. Okay. So I just told you all the facts. Now I'm gonna tell you what my theory is. Okay, so this is what I feel like what happened. What happened? Okay, first of all, the prosecution is not doing a job because first of all, you should have asked Megan the questions and how she personally feels when it comes to this being character assassination. That is basically what this is. And also, it should have been questions about all of the people that the defense keep accusing her of sleeping with or having some type of relations with. Should her pum pum be on the stand? Absolutely not. But guess what? That is the defense's job to create reasonable doubt among the jurors. That's what it is. Period. They need to create it, and they've done that. They've done their job on that end. Okay. Secondly, them in these bags. Instantly, when they kept asking questions about the bags, and when you're reading the transcripts, I realized, oh, they trying to make it seem like either Kelsey or Meg had a bag that had a gun, had this alleged gun inside of the bag. It was one of their guns. And I'm just saying to myself, that's pretty low, but whatever. You know, that's your job. That's what you're trying to do. Okay, whatever. I just feel like the prosecution should have done more to get a definitive answer out of EJ instead of the maybe, sorta, I don't know, I didn't like that. And it creates doubt. Now, I will say this. It is very apparent that Tory Lanez saw an opportunity to be with a Kardashian. Period. I don't care what anyone says. Here it is, and here it is, this little small guy. He's looked up because he's already had two baddies in the pool. He's already had two baddies. I don't care what nobody says. Kelsey and Meg are both beautiful women. And on any given day, if he wasn't who he was, he wouldn't have been able to pull these women, period. He's already had them. And now he's finding out that Kylie asking about him. And now it's just like, oh man, I could pull me a Jenner, a Jenner Kardashian. I had Kelsey. She a baddie, okay. She not famous or nothing like that, but she a baddie, And now I had Meg. She on her way to a Grammy, like she's that. But at the end of the day, a Grammy can't surpass no $1 billion poom poom, regardless if she wrote her own Forbes article or not. People saying she's a billionaire. At the end of the day, she worth more than all of them put together. Let's just put it that way. And so he feels like he got an opportunity. So you can't tell me that him and Kylie were not flirting. And that's another thing. I find it very, very odd that Kylie was not brought to the stand as a witness and Corey wasn't brought to the stand as a witness. I find that very funny, especially when they're trying to push this narrative that, you know, Meg is this belligerent drunk, etc., this, that, and the other. Wouldn't they be the perfect people to be able to prove that? Especially if this is Kylie Jenner's home. Okay, so fast forward. I believe that when Meg went back into that house to look for her shoes, she saw some things. Okay, she saw some things of some things. And she started flipping out because the truth of the matter is she had that eggplant and she knew what it was about. Now, let me tell you something about leprechauns. They can do some things, okay? They can do some things and they can turn you out. You want to know how I know? That ain't important. But just know they will have you questioning why you even got yourself into this and how you gonna get yourself out of it, because it's real tempting, because you know tried it once and now you want to try it again and again and again. And that's what the thing was about, and we go break that down as we go on. But yeah, Meg had realized, oh shoot, I might be sharing my little pot of gold with somebody else, and she ain't like that. Because when she walked into Kylie's house, she saw some things. Tory is like, listen, me and you already on the down low. You know I'm supposed to be talking to your homegirl. Me and you messing around. It is what it is. Let me do my thing over here. Like, why you acting funny all of a sudden? Let's not act like you don't talk to this dude anyways. You know what it is. Yo, we cool. We like each other. But this is Jenna Kardashian. I don't care what nothing else is going on. She's a Jenna Kardashian. I'm telling you what was in his head, and I'm telling you what was in her head. So then they're going back into the vehicle. Like literally, Meg and Tory are walking to the SUV. So now they're in the SUV, they're driving, and the argument starts to ensue. Tory is like, man, you know, why you basically blocking. Like, what is your issue? And here's Meg. I don't even understand what it like. You know you wrong for that. You wrong for that. Like, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. He says more than likely. Now, what's disrespectful is you screwing on your homegirl, and you know me and her supposed to be an item, of me and her supposed to be dealing with each other, and me and you dealing with each other too. How about you want to talk about disrespect? Disrespect that. So then Kelsey, she in the back, you know, feeling it, drunk, but she sobers up real quick, okay? And she like, wait, what was that again? Say it again. And they're like, yeah. Tory like, yeah. I'm knocking Meg down. And Meg is like, oh, we spilling tea? And Kelsey like, so you getting my pot of gold too? Because at the end of the day, Kelsey in her mind, she liked the pot of gold too. Because if she didn't like it, she would have tried it 2 or 3 or 4 times. The same with Meg. They know what it is. Yeah, he a leprechaun. Okay. But I guarantee you they had a fun time. They had some good times, okay? And they didn't want to share their good times with Kylie. Whether it was going to be a down low situation or not, they didn't want to share. So then it's like all of the arguing, this, that, and the other, and then they start throwing shots at each other. And I guarantee you, he is the person that threw the shot first, because he had already done that because he was mad. Like, come on. You basically have blocked him from getting with a Kylie Kardashian. He feeling some type of way. He's angry and he's short and he's a leprechaun. He's upset, okay? So at this point, he feeling some type of way that you have basically prohibited him from going to the next level. He feeling some type of way. Okay. Kris Jenner is the manager of all managers. So at this point, he's like, F it. Balls to the wall. I'm telling it all. I'm saying it all. I'm throwing shots. I'm doing it all. So more than likely, he was like, B, you ain't nothing. You ain't hot. You ain't Kylie. I guarantee you, he was comparing her to Kylie and basically being like, in comparison to Kylie, you ain't ish. Meg, on the other hand, starts feeling some type of way, and she starts insulting his career. Basically saying that you're not hot. The only thing that made you hot was your little Jack Harlow feature. And one thing you can't do with a leprechaun, honey, is bruise their ego. It gets bad, and it gets bad fast. Side note, let me tell y'all a little story. I'm not going to tell a whole story time, but I'm going to tell y'all a little story. I dealt with a female leprechaun before. It ain't what you think, okay? So I had an ex that I had been dating on and off for like 5 years. And over the course of that time, he had been trying to get back into my life. And I would always see this small person. It wouldn't matter where we was at. We could be at his place of business. We could be at the tire shop. We could be at the grocery store, like just talking outside in public. I remember even one time we were like at a what do they call those things? Like a festival. And we were just standing outside of the car talking. And I'm just like, who is this? I don't want to say dwarf because I think that that's not the right term. I was like, who is this little person? Okay, yeah, that's the correct term. Who is this little person? And he was just like, man, that'd be crazy. She be stalking me. She crazy. Da, 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 da. I even remember there was a situation that, and I'll get into that because it was like, when I tell you crazy story time with me in this little female leprechaun, crazy story times. There was even a time where this woman literally tried to kill me. And I get into that later. You know, I get into that on another video because this don't have nothing to do with that. But I do want to tell you about leprechauns and their deception, honey, when they don't get their way. So, long story short, she basically was telling me that my ex was her man and I couldn't get back in his life. Period. He mine. He mine. You may have had him once, but I got him all the time. And I'm looking like, you? And so, of course, at this time, I wasn't even messing with the dude at this time. It was funny to me. So, you know, she called herself confronting me. It was just crazy. And then it was an attempted murder situation. I'll get into that in another video. But, you know, I'm telling him, long story short, me and him, some really, really bad, crazy stuff ended up happening between he and I. That'll probably be another story time as well. But fast forward years later, he denied. I'm talking about for years, denied. Mind you, this guy's like 6'4", super tall. She may have been 3 feet 2 inches, maybe. Like she was small, very small. Like he's here, she's down there. And you would just think it would be an odd couple. Okay. And I'm just like, something wrong, because she definitely keep claiming you, and you basically calling her everything but a child of God, to the point where you even getting no trespassing warrants on this girl, just all type of stuff, harassment. He had done all kind of stuff to keep this girl away from him. Fast forward years later, even after me and him had this really, really bad situation that happened, I never spoke to him again. Even to this day, we've never spoken again. Years later, she comes up pregnant. She's screaming to the top of her lungs that he's the father. Mind you, she out to here. And he's like, man, that be crazy. Da, 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 da. I mean, he just tell everybody she crazy. I mean, and she was crazy because she was hiding in garbage cans, and we'll get into that later on another video. Anyways, years later, she comes up pregnant. He's still denying, I ain't touched that leprechaun. I ain't touch her. Look at me. I'm tall as hell. What the hell I'm doing touching a leprechaun? Fast forward, she's pregnant. She has a DNA test. It's literally took her like a year or two to be able to subpoena him to come to court to do the DNA test. Guess who the father was? He was the pappy, honey. He was the daddy. So that's one thing that I know. People like to mess with leprechauns, but they don't like to claim. They'll mess with them. They will mess with them, but they do not like to claim them. So I understand why Meg didn't tell the truth. She liked what the leprechaun did to her, but she didn't want nobody to know she messed with him. Now, be that as it may, this is a case about did you get shot and who did it? We all know she got shot. And I don't care what nobody say. Tory did it. Tory did it. And let me tell you why I feel like Tory did it. You want to know? Because first of all, the best witness to everything was the driver. And why is the driver nowhere to be found? He's nowhere to be found. And what we do know from Tory's camp is that Tory not taking the stand. Guess what? If I didn't do nothing and I was facing 22 years, I get up on that stand and I say, Your Honor, jurors, people of the jury, I ain't do it. I didn't do it. This chick is crazy and she crazier. And at the end of the day, these helpers was fighting and somehow the gun got pulled out and it didn't have nothing to do with me. I was just an innocent bystander with my eggplant, just trying to plant it wherever I could, Your Honor. But just because I like to plant my eggplant wherever I can does not mean that I should be going to prison for 22 years for shooting somebody because I didn't shoot nobody. If I was Tory, that's what I would do if I, in fact, did not shoot anyone. Another thing why I feel like Tory did it. It was your gun. Two, it came out in the testimony last week that there was DNA found on the gun. There was no DNA found on the cartridge, but there was male and female DNA found on the gun, but it was inconclusive. The reason why it was inconclusive is because it was wiped off. If you go back and look on YouTube, one of Tory's former bodyguards that took a charge for him back in 2016 even talks about them wiping off a gun for him. Then on top of that, don't the man have a whole gun tatted on his chest? Guess what? People who have music notes tatted on them like music. K. Michelle have music notes tatted on her because she like music. You got guns tatted on you. You like guns. I don't care what nobody says. Guilty. Then also what gets me is that nobody is bringing up the bodyguard. The bodyguard has one of the key pieces of evidence. Kelsey literally texting him, help, 911. Meg's been shot. Tory shot Meg. And everybody is like, oh, well, Meg hit her. Why is he not testifying? Or Tory paid him off. Ain't nobody paid that man off. Okay? Nobody paid him off. You want to know what happened? He told Megan a long time ago, I'm not in your bullshit. And I told you about messing with these ninjas. I told you about messing with this ninja, this little leprechaun ninja right here. I told you about messing with him. And you continue to deal with it. And guess what? Now you're behind shot and you still got bullet fragments in your foot. Now that, I'm sorry about that. If I was there, I know for a fact it wouldn't have happened. If I was there, I know for a fact it wouldn't happen. But I wasn't there and it happened, and it is what it is. I made 6 figures a year being a celebrity bodyguard. And your money is good. I really like it. Thank you. However, you not the end all be all. And I have other people that I may be contracted to work for. And if I go and testify and say that I saw something or I heard something or I was text something and I was told something, who is gonna hire me? People pay me for my silence in these type of situations. You Meg the Stallion, but you can't take care of me and my family for the rest of our lives when I can't get no work because people don't want to work with me because I am a snitch. I ain't testifying. Tell that man, that prosecutor man, and that prosecutor lady, stop calling my phone because I'm not testifying. And if they do keep calling me, I'm not going to answer the phone. Nobody didn't pay him. Now, I will tell you this. I don't care what nobody says. I do kind of feel like EJ was paid, and I definitely know like 99% feel like Kelsey was paid, but I feel like Tory paid her through 501 record label, 1501 record label. That's what I feel. Allegedly, it may have happened. I feel like Tory didn't directly give Kelsey money. I feel like the money was like funneled through that record label. And that's how she was paid. Because if you realize 1501 record label, she's been contracted to do like a whole bunch of stuff like styling, videos, production, all kind of stuff. She's been hired by different artists in the record label and the production company to do all type of stuff. And I don't care what nobody says. I feel like Tory got the Kelsey. Kelsey felt some type of way because, and it wasn't even about Kelsey and Meg messing around behind each other, over each other, on top of each other, whatever. Kelsey was hurt about it, but I don't think she was butthurt about it. I think that Tory started spitting off and talking crazy, and he started talking crazy to Meg and Kelsey in that car and in that SUV. And before you knew it, they were all arguing to the top of their lungs, going off to the point where Meg got so angry and so upset about them going off. She decides to ask the driver to pull over, and she gets out of the vehicle. And in between that time, Tory and Kelsey coerce her and ask her to come back, to the vehicle. But, that's what I think. I don't think that there was no arguing over no gun. I don't feel like there was no tussling over no gun. I feel like that. I do believe that man shot intentionally and pulled the trigger intentionally 5 times. Absolutely. I don't feel like there was no tussle for no gun and this, that, and the other. You don't tussle for no gun and shoot no gun 5 times. That don't happen. Nope. Daddy in law enforcement, uncles in law enforcement, great-grandfather in law enforcement, cousins in law enforcement. You don't struggle over no gun and shoot it five times on accident. That don't happen. That's impossible. They should have brought a ballistics expert to prove that. They should have, let's tussle over the gun. They should have did it right there. Right there in the courtroom. Let's reenact this thing, because those are the different things and the different elements that the defense is trying to bring about. Then also what got me was that the defense was making such a big deal about these bags. Let's be real. You drunk. You and Kelsey are drunk. Y'all are in the vehicle with the driver. This is prior to them going back and getting Tory and prior to going back and getting her shoes. She drunk. She looking for her shoes. She looking for her items because she realizing, oh shoot, I done walked out of this white lady house in this rich people neighborhood barefoot with no shoes on. I'm looking real ignorant and real ninja at this point. Absolutely, you are, ma'am. And she was looking for her shoes. So that's easily may have possibly been the reason why the bags were moved from the trunk to the back seat, because she was looking for her shoes. And again, Kelsey was her assistant, so I'm quite sure Kelsey probably was the one to get the bags, to look through the bags, to look for the shoes. And when she realized that EJ hadn't packed up the shoes, she went back to go get her shoes. So everybody's like, I mean, that was just sandals. They was like slides or flip-flops or whatever. What's the big deal? Listen, I don't even care if it's a Tory Burch flip-flop. I don't care if it's an Aldo flip-flop. Okay? Aldo has some cute flip-flops, sandals. I'm going back to get my sandals. I don't care if it is college in the house. And apparently, the way they showed out, she wasn't going to get invited again. And Kylie sure as heck wasn't about to pick up those shoes or have nobody mail them to her. That girl was going back for her shoes. And knowing that it was Mag, I'm quite sure it was some type of luxury sandal. It might have been a Louis, might have been a Prada, might have been, a Hermes. It was some type of luxury sandal. And if you going back for Aldo flip-flops, me and you going back for Aldo or Tory Burch flip-flops, she definitely going back for her LVs. Like, stop it. Don't sit up here and make it seem like that don't make any sense. It absolutely makes sense. Especially they some Chanel sandals, honey. I'm going back to get my stuff. And she tall too. You know how hard it is for us to find sandals that fit our feet and that are comfortable? Please. She went back to go and get her stuff. And I don't blame her. Now, at the end of the day, Tory, your defense is very good. You still shot that girl. Did your defense prove reasonable doubt? Absolutely. But there's still a lot of loopholes in the middle of this situation that make me very much question and think, if you didn't shoot her, why don't you just take the stand and say that? Why you can't, Your Honor, why can't you do that if you didn't shoot her? I think that's, whenever a defendant does not take the stand to prove their point, I always question that. Especially if I was a juror, that would be a red flag to me. 2, your driver, who saw everything, had a bird's eye view literally right there. He was the person in the driver's seat who was able to see everything, who was the person who stopped the car, the person who drove the car, the person who was directed to do any and everything when it came to you, Kelsey, and Meg. He is the number one key eyewitness, and he wasn't there. And he your driver, not they driver. And he not no witness. Yeah, that's real questionable. That's very questionable. And as a juror, that would play in my mind. If you didn't do it, he would be the main person to come and say that you didn't do it, unless you did it because you did. Because you did. You shot the girl. You shot her. Yep. Behind was mad because she was getting to you. Now let me tell you something. One thing I know about 2 signs for sure. There are 2 signs. 2 signs that can read you down and bruise and hurt your ego like no other. Bruise or hurt your ego like no other. You ready to fight. You want to fight. You want to fight. You want to fight. You want to fight. There are 2 signs. And they both, I'll break it down. First sign is Sagittarius. Baby, they hurt your feelings. Yes, ma'am. Sag. They'll hurt your feelings. Don't have no war words with them. Sagittarius will hurt your feelings, but let me tell you the type of way that they hurt your feelings. They do jabs. They just say hurtful stuff and they do jabs. They keep jabbing and jabbing and jabbing and jabbing to the point you want to jab them in their face. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is Aquarius. Now, them motherfuckers, you definitely don't want to have no war words with. Let me tell you why. It's like they go deep, 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 deep. They going to penetrate your soul after they finish with you. And you gonna want to fight. You gonna want to fight them, or you gonna want to shoot them like Tory did. And I guarantee you that Meg was in that car tagging that ass when it came to her mouth, and she was tagging and tagging and tagging, and he couldn't get her back. And it got to the point where they got to tussling and fighting and everything else, and guns pulled out. And that's what I believe. I believe Meg Mouth got her shot. Yep. Her mouth was real ruthless. She dug deep. She penetrated that man's soul. He felt some type of way about it. Yep. Them two signs. Don't even argue with them people. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Don't even argue with them people. Sagittarius go keep jabbing you until you want to jab them. And then Aquarius is just go penetrate your soul, and you just go be like, say what? You'll be crying and angry all at the same time. Now there's some runner-ups that to the Shade Fest, to the train of shade. There are some runner-ups, but them two, don't even play with them two. Don't even play with them two. And there are 3 runner-ups. Capricorn try to do their thing. Taurus try to do their thing. Pisces try to do their thing. Even Libras, they try to do their thing, but they can't touch. They can't touch them other two, baby. They can't touch them other two. Baby, they can't touch them other two. And I do believe that Meg, with her Aquarius mouth running ass, tagged the hell out of Tory with her words, and he felt some type of way because here she is, this big stallion. Her words. This big stallion getting one up on him. His driver there. The driver probably laughing because Meg getting them. Kelsey probably laughing. And Tory get mad. B, what you laughing for? He gets on to Kelsey because Kelsey probably laughing because Meg tagging him. She just tag teaming him with her mouth, going off on him. And he probably start calling Kelsey all kind of bees and everything else for laughing. So that's how him and Kelsey ended up physically getting into it, because there's even a text message that Kelsey sent to Meg asking Meg, should she go to the ER or should she go to urgent care because she had bruises and a ball patch in her head. She all beat up and slung around from the night before. When I tell you that this entire court case is an absolute mess, it's a mess. And at this point, I just wish that they would just go ahead and call a mistrial, because there's even been a situation with 2 of the jurors. Just yesterday, Tory and his team supposedly was caught in the elevator with one of the jurors. Like, this whole thing is a mess. It needs to be a mistrial, but Mr. What's his name? Daystar, whatever his name, Tory, you did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. But you have a very, 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 very good attorney and extremely good defense team who you probably pay very well. And they're getting you off. And it's very sad because you shot this woman. You shot her. You intentionally pulled a gun and pulled the trigger 5 times. Absolutely. I don't care what nobody says. You did it. Well, that's my commentary. That's it. If anything else comes up, I'll probably come on and chat with you all. Drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with what my theory is, or do you not agree? Hey, chronicle it below. All right. Talk to you all later.